Aleksander Barkov's story begins in Tampere, Finland, a city steeped in hockey tradition. It was here that his father played for Tampere in the Finnish Elite League. In this hockey-rich environment, young Barkov found his path. He joined Tampere's junior system, honing his skills and nurturing his dream. In 2010, Barkov emerged as a prodigious talent, becoming one of the youngest players to ever play in the U20 Championship Series. His season stats were impressive, tallying 5 goals and 12 assists in just 25 games. The following year, at just 16 years old, Barkov played in the Finnish Elite League with Tampere, having an immediate impact. With his first assist, he shattered a 37-year-old record, becoming the youngest player in league history to score a point. As the season unfolded, Barkov's role expanded. He became a fixture on Tampere's power play, and averaged 13 minutes and 32 seconds of ice time per game. His remarkable rookie season saw him net 7 goals and contribute 9 assists across 32 games. Barkov also played for Finland at the World Junior Championships, where he broke Sidney Crosby's record as the youngest player to ever score in the tournament. Unfortunately, his momentum was halted by a bout of mononucleosis, which sidelined him for the remainder of the regular season. When he returned to the Elite League for 2012-13, Barkov set career highs across the board. With 21 goals and 27 assists in 53 games, he ranked second in scoring for Tampere. His remarkable season was cut short by an injury, necessitating shoulder surgery that sidelined him for the playoffs, as well as fitness testing for the NHL draft. Despite this setback, Barkov's prowess on the ice was undeniable, as Central Scouting ranked him first among international prospects, and 4th overall for the 2013 draft. Somewhat surprisingly, the Panthers selected him 2nd overall, ahead of the consensus number 2 pick Seth Jones, cementing Barkov's status as one of the most hyped prospects of his draft year. That July, Barkov inked an entry-level contract with the Panthers, marking the beginning of his NHL career. After signing, he attended Panthers camp ahead of the 2013-14 season and made the team. Barkov made his NHL debut on October 3, 2013, in a victory over the Stars, where he notched his first NHL goal. In addition to logging 15:34 of ice time and winning 3 of 13 faceoffs, he became the youngest player since the 1967 expansion to score a goal in the NHL. As the NHL's youngest player, Barkov quickly made his presence felt, accumulating 5 points in his first 7 games. His playing time increased steadily, from about 10 minutes early in the season to over 13 minutes by the end of October, as Barkov and fellow rookie Nick Bjugstad soon solidified their roles as key centers. Praised for his maturity both on and off the ice, Barkov continued to impress. In December, he had 9 points in 10 games, thriving on the Panthers' top line, alongside Sean Bergenheim and Brad Boyes. But a lower body injury on January 21st sidelined him for 4 games, though he remained just 1 point shy of the team lead with 24 points. His impressive performance earned him a spot on Team Finland for the 2014 Olympics, making him the youngest player ever selected for the squad. At the time of his selection, Barkov had 8 goals and 16 assists, on track for a 36-point season. Unfortunately, a season-ending injury during the Olympics cut his promising rookie season short, but he did win an Olympic bronze medal as a member of Team Finland. In the 2014 offseason, the Panthers signed Finnish free agent Jussi Jokinen, who was drawn to the Panthers by the opportunity to play on the same team as Barkov, who he got to know during the Olympics. As for Barkov, he and his line mates made an immediate impact, combining for 5 goals and 3 assists in the first 4 games of the season. This was before the team's dynamic shifted radically when Jaromir Jagr joined the team in late February. The veteran was paired with Barkov and Huberdeau on the top line, and the result was electrifying, with both Barkov and Huberdeau seeing their point production soar. During a 12-game stretch in late February and March, Barkov notched 8 points while Huberdeau accumulated 12. And on April 2nd, Barkov's assist helped Jagr tie Ron Francis for 4th place on the NHL's all-time points list. By season's end, the trio had amassed 19 goals and 35 assists for 54 points over 21 games. Barkov concluded his sophomore season with 36 points, including an impressive 15 points in the 21 games following Jagr's arrival. Building on their success from the previous season, Barkov was reunited with Hubie and Jagr to start 2015-16. The trio hit the ground running, racking up 7 goals and 15 points in their first 5 games, with Barkov contributing 3 goals and 3 assists. But an injury setback occurred on October 22nd during a game against the Blackhawks, when Barkov suffered a hand injury. He was sidelined for 10 games, before making his return on November 16th in a victory over the Lightning. Barkov's return bolstered the Panthers lineup, leading the team to their most successful December in franchise history. He led the charge with 5 goals and 8 assists, totaling 13 points for the month. By January 13th, Barkov had 12 goals in 33 games and ranked 3rd on the team with 28 points. Over 13 games, he notched 3 game-winning goals and 3 multi-point games. His impressive performance earned him a 6-year, $35.4 million extension. At the time of the signing, Barkov had amassed 12 goals and 18 assists for 30 points in 38 games. Shortly after signing the extension, Barkov suffered another setback, after taking a hit from wings forward Justin Abdelkader, which sidelined him for 6 games. He returned to action on February 25th, and the line of Barkov, Huberdeau, and Jágr, which had combined for 22 goals by that point, continued to excel. By the end of February, Barkov had 19 goals and 19 assists in 45 games, leading the team with 8 power play goals, while Jágr led with 17 even-strength goals. On April 2nd, the trio combined for 7 points, helping Florida secure a franchise record 44th win. Barkov had 2 goals and an assist, including the game-winning goal, extending his point streak to 5 games. Shortly after, the Panthers clinched a playoff berth for the first time since the 2011-12 season. Barkov set a new career high with a 7-game point streak, scoring his 5th goal in 4 games to help the Panthers clinch the Atlantic Division title. He concluded the 2015-16 season with career highs in goals, with 28, and assists, with 31, while accruing only 8 penalty minutes in 66 games. His disciplined play earned him a nomination for the Lady Byng, finishing as a runner-up to Andrei Kopitar. Barkov made his first playoff appearance in Game 1 of the Panthers' first-round series against the Islanders. Despite winning 14 of his 19 faceoffs, Barkov and the Panthers fell 5-4. But they bounced back with a victory in Game 2, with Barkov tying Riley Smith for the team lead with 10 shots on goal, although his line with Jágr and Huberdeau remained scoreless. That changed in Game 3, when Barkov netted his first career playoff goal, although the Panthers lost 4-3. Seeking a strategic shift, the Panthers deployed 11 forwards and 7D in Game 4, which increased Barkov's ice time. He led all Panthers with 24 minutes and 10 seconds, helping the team even the series at 2 games apiece. Barkov scored his second playoff goal in Game 5, which ended in a heartbreaking 2-1 overtime loss. Heading into Game 6, Barkov and Huberdeau had averaged 10 shots per game as a duo, but despite their efforts, the Panthers were eliminated in double overtime. Throughout the series, Barkov averaged 25.54 of ice time per game, and recorded the second most shots on net with 28. He maintained a 53% success rate in the face-off circle, and finished the playoffs with 2 goals and 1 assist in 6 games. Following the Panthers' elimination, Barkov joined Team Finland at the World Championships, where he earned more hardware on the international stage. During the 2016 offseason, the Panthers tried to bolster their lineup, signing key players like Keith Yandle and Jonathan Huberdeau to long-term deals. But a preseason setback struck when Huberdeau suffered an ankle injury, sidelining him for 3 to 4 months. Jonathan Marchessault, a recent free agent acquisition, stepped into Huberdeau's spot on the top line, and despite Hubie's absence, the top line thrived in October. By the 21st, Barkov and Marchessault were leading the team in goals, assists, and points. But Barkov soon started to struggle, going 21 games without a goal. He snapped the drought in dramatic fashion, scoring the overtime game winner against the Wings. The goal reignited his offensive production, as he registered 9 points in the next 9 games, after starting the season with 11 points in 20. By December 14th, Barkov had tied Marchessault for the team lead in points, and was first among forwards in shots and game-winning goals. But it emerged that he'd been playing through an injury, which forced him to miss 2 to 3 weeks. At the time of his injury, he was on a 5-game point streak, and led the team with 27 points in 36 games. After a 15-game absence due to a back injury, Barkov returned in February alongside Huberdeau for a game against the Anaheim Ducks. He quickly made his presence felt, scoring 2 goals in his first 3 games back. His momentum continued, amassing 5 goals and 3 assists over 6 games. Even though an upper body injury ended his season early, he finished second on the team with 52 points, third in goals with 21, and second in game-winning goals with 5, despite playing just 61 games. Leading up to the 2017 expansion draft, unsurprisingly, Barkov was among the players the Panthers protected. But they saw top talents like Jonathan Marchessault and Riley Smith depart to Vegas. In the offseason, the Panthers also decided to move on from Jaromir Jágr, bringing back Russian star and former Panther Evgeny Dadonov to take his place on Barkov's line. Throughout the 2017-18 season, Barkov's line mates were in flux, but his production remained steady. By mid-November, he was averaging over a point per game, and logging nearly 23 minutes of ice time. By January, Barkov had amassed 14 goals and 26 assists, while also leading all NHL forwards in average ice time. These achievements earned him his first All-Star selection. After the All-Star break, Barkov continued his torrid pace, recording 4 goals and 6 assists in 7 February games. He finished the season with 27 goals and 51 assists, before an upper body injury ended his season with 2 games remaining. His disciplined play, reflected in just 14 penalty minutes, earned him his second nomination as a finalist for the Lady Byng. Following his career best season, Barkov was named the 10th captain in Panthers history, succeeding Derek McKenzie. Building on his previous success, Barkov set new career highs during the 2018-19 season. Early on, he tied for 10th place on the Panthers' all-time point list with his 251st NHL point. Despite his strong individual performance, the Panthers stumbled out of the gate, winning just one of their first 5 games. In late October, the team traveled to Finland for the NHL's Global Series, where they split 2 games against the Winnipeg Jets. Upon their return, the Panthers found their rhythm, embarking on a 5-game winning streak from November 1st to 15th. By late November, Barkov had amassed 8 points over 7 games and led the league in ice time among forwards, as well as takeaways. His ascent continued with his first NHL hat trick in a 4-3 overtime win over the Leafs on December 15th. This strong play solidified his status as an early contender for the Selke, awarded to the league's best defensive forward. Although Barkov was enjoying individual success, the Panthers struggled to find consistency. By early January, they were hovering around 500, prompting head coach Bob Boughner to shuffle the lines. Dennis Malgin was promoted to the top line with Barkov and Huberdeau, while Dadonov and Hoffman were moved to the second line. After the All-Star break, Barkov ranked second on the Panthers with 47 points, and he was third in the NHL in takeaways. On February 7th, he recorded his 300th career point, while leading the Panthers to a 3-2 overtime victory against the Penguins. Barkov credited his increased production to the return of second-line center Vinny Trocheck, which allowed him to conserve energy and play more effectively in his role on the top line. On February 17th, Barkov netted his second career hat trick in a 6-3 win over the Habs, and his performance earned him second star of the week honors. Shortly thereafter, Barkov became the first Panther to record 5 assists in a single game in a 6-2 win over the Wild. The Panthers' top line of Barkov, Huberdeau, and Dadonov combined for 11 assists, marking the most assists by 3 players in NHL history in one game. A few games later, Barkov reached the 80-point mark, becoming the second player in franchise history to do so. Huberdeau also reached 80 points, making them the first pair of Panthers to achieve this milestone in the same season. In a game against the Capitals on April 1st, Barkov recorded 3 assists to tie Pavel Bure's franchise record of 94 points in a season. He went on to surpass Bure's record with a goal and assist in an overtime loss to the Devils to finish the season with 96 points. He was named a finalist for the Lady Byng for the 3rd straight season, and ultimately won the award, having taken just 4 minor penalties to go with his 96 points. During the 2019 offseason, the Panthers made a pivotal move when one-time goalie Roberto Luongo retired, and the team signed 2-time Vezina winner Sergei Bobrovsky from Columbus. Barkov started the season strong, posting 10 points during the Panthers' 8-game point streak. Notably, he had 4 assists in a game against the Flames on October 24th. And by the end of October, Barkov was tied with Huberdeau for the team lead in scoring, each with 15 points. Between October 22nd and November 21st, Barkov amassed 7 goals and 16 assists, including 9 multi-point games, for a total of 23 points. During this period, Barkov and his line mates Hubie and Dadonov combined for 39 points over 9 games. But the line struggled in December, prompting head coach Joel Quenneville to shake things up by pairing Barkov with Frank Vetrano and Brett Connolly in mid-December. On December 16th, Barkov scored his 146th career NHL goal, surpassing Stephen Weiss for 4th in franchise history. With his new line mates, Barkov maintained a 3-game point streak, registering 1 goal and 3 assists. After a tough 6-1 loss to the Lightning, Quenneville decided to reunite Barkov with his former line mates Huberdeau and Dadonov, aiming to recapture the chemistry that had driven their earlier success. While playing with his usual line mates on January 16, Barkov recorded the 395th point of his career, securing 3rd place on the franchise's all-time scoring list. By February 3rd, Barkov had helped the Panthers to a 28-17-5 record, before suffering a lower body injury in a 4-0 loss to the Habs. At the time, he had 16 goals and 38 assists for 54 points in 50 games. Upon returning from injury, Barkov notched his 400th point and 249th assist, tying Stephen Weiss for 2nd in Panthers history. Shortly after, he scored his 152nd NHL goal, tying Pavel Bure for 3rd in franchise history. And in a loss to the Kings on February 20th, Barkov reached the 20-goal mark for the 5th consecutive season, ranking 2nd on the team with 60 points. When the NHL paused due to the COVID pandemic, Barkov had accumulated 20 goals and 42 assists for 62 points in 66 games. In July, the Panthers returned to play for the 2020 Stanley Cup qualifiers against the New York Islanders. During the first round series, Barkov recorded a goal and 3 assists, but the Panthers fell to the Islanders in 4 games. The team struggled offensively, as he and Huberdeau were the only Panthers forwards to record more than 1 point in the series. During the 2020 offseason, Barkov teamed up with fellow Finn Patrik Laine to co-host a charity golf tournament supporting the Association for Persons with Intellectual Disabilities. Meanwhile, the Panthers made a notable roster change, trading Mike Matheson and Colton Sevier to the Penguins in exchange for right winger Patrick Hornqvist. Hornqvist expressed his excitement about joining the team and praised Barkov as the most underrated player in the league. Barkov began the COVID-shortened 2021 season with new line mates Anthony Duclair and Carter Verhaeghe, while Huberdeau was paired with Alexander Wennberg and Hornqvist on the second line. Barkov and his new line mates quickly found chemistry, combining for 7 goals and 13 assists in January, helping the team maintain their point streak from opening night. By February 5th, Barkov ranked second on the team with 11 points as the Panthers extended their point streak to 8 games. Then on February 15th, during a 6-4 win over the Lightning, Barkov recorded 2 points, surpassing Olli Jokinen for the second most points in franchise history. And a few weeks later, Barkov celebrated a significant milestone, playing in his 500th NHL game on March 1st. Despite suffering a shoulder injury on March 22nd, Barkov was named Central Division Star of the Month, accumulating 5 goals and 11 assists in 11 games, and leading the Panthers to a 10-5-1 record. He finished the regular season leading the team with 26 goals and 58 points in 50 games, becoming the first player in franchise history to achieve 6 consecutive 50-point and 20-goal seasons. Barkov then set another franchise milestone by becoming the first Panther to win the Selke as the NHL's best defensive forward. In the 2021 playoffs, he contributed a goal and 6 assists in the Panthers' first-round series, although they were ultimately defeated by the Lightning in 6 games. Following his Selke win, Barkov signed an 8-year, $80 million contract extension with the Panthers. His strong performance to start the season helped the Panthers win their first 8 games, before an overtime loss to the Bruins on October 30th. Despite the loss, the team maintained their point streak, with Barkov ranking second on the team with 9 points. Soon after, Barkov tied Olli Jokinen for the most goals in franchise history, scoring his 188th career goal in a 5-4 win over the Capitals. And on November 9th, he scored his 189th goal to become the franchise's all-time leading goal scorer. A few days later, Barkov suffered a knee-on-knee collision with New York Islanders defenseman Scott Mayfield, resulting in another lower body injury. At the time, Barkov led the team with 9 goals and 17 points in 15 games. He missed 8 games before returning on December 8th against the Blues, where he scored less than 7 minutes in, before exiting in the third period with another injury. This time an upper body one that sidelined him for an additional 4 games. He returned in late December, and by the end of January he'd achieved 2 significant milestones, recording his 200th NHL goal and 500th NHL point. He was the first player in franchise history to score 200 goals for the Panthers, further solidifying his status as one of the Panthers' all-time greats. By the end of February, he'd netted 25 goals in 40 games, and led the team in power play goals with 8. He was also tied for first in the league with 4 shorthanded goals. From January 1st to March 24th, Barkov scored 16 goals and 26 assists over 31 games, and under his leadership, the Panthers won the President's Trophy for the first time in franchise history. Barkov finished the season with 39 goals, 49 assists, and 88 points in 67 games. He also won a career-best 57% of faceoffs, and led all Panthers forwards in average ice time, while earning a second consecutive Selke nomination. In the first round of the playoffs against the Capitals, Barkov recorded 2 goals and 4 assists, and his efforts helped the Panthers advance past the first round for the first time since 1996. In Game 1 of Round 2 against the Lightning, Barkov played 23 minutes and 5 seconds and recorded 5 shots on goal. But the Panthers struggled offensively, and Barkov finished the series with just 1 assist, as they were swept in 4 games. During the 2022 offseason, the Panthers made a big splash by trading for Matthew Tkachuk in exchange for Huberdeau and defenseman Mackenzie Weegar. In the Panthers' home opener, Barkov played his 600th NHL game and recorded multiple assists for the 71st time. By the end of October, he was tied for second on the team in points with 8 and led all Panthers forwards in ice time per game. But the next 2 months proved challenging for both Barkov and the team. By American Thanksgiving, the Panthers were 5th in the Atlantic Division with a 10-8-2 record. Barkov also missed several games in November and December due to illness and injuries. He then missed the final 3 games before the Christmas break due to a lower body injury sustained against New Jersey. After the break, Barkov made a triumphant return, recording the fastest hat trick to start a game in franchise history by scoring 3 goals within the first 15:22 of the first period. By January 14th, Barkov had accumulated 11 goals and 23 assists for 34 points in 34 games. And that was before going on a hot streak, where he had 6 goals and 9 assists over 8 games. After the All-Star break, Barkov and the Panthers found their rhythm and began to win more consistently. In February, they won 3 in a row for the first time and steadily improved their overall record. Unfortunately, Barkov's month was still marred by injuries, causing him to miss 4 games. March saw the Panthers inch closer to a playoff spot, winning 3 consecutive games before a 4-game losing streak set them back. On March 20th, in a game against the Red Wings, Barkov surpassed former teammate Jonathan Huberdeau to become the Panthers' all-time leading scorer with 614 points. Shortly after that, he moved past Stephen Weiss for second place on the franchise's all-time games played list. In the final 8 games of the season, Barkov had 12 points to help the Panthers clinch the second wildcard spot in the East. He finished the season with 23 goals and 55 assists for 78 points, and placed 8th in voting for the Selke. He was also nominated by the Panthers for the King Clancy Award, awarded to the player who best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice. Barkov was recognized for his 3-year partnership with Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, during which he donated $1,600 for every goal he scored and $800 for every assist. In the 2023 playoffs, Barkov and the Panthers embarked on a surprise run to the Stanley Cup Finals. They faced the President's Trophy-winning Bruins in the first round and triumphed in a thrilling 7-game series. Early in the series, Barkov and the top line received criticism for their lack of production, but in Game 6, Barkov responded with a goal and assist, helping to force a decisive Game 7. With the victory, the Panthers advanced to the second round, where they faced the Leafs and defeated them in 5 games. In the conference finals against the Hurricanes, Barkov found his scoring touch, quickly scoring 2 goals and an assist in the first 2 games. He suffered an injury in Game 3, but returned for Game 4 and contributed to the Panthers' sweep of the Canes. The win earned the Panthers a berth in the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since 1996. Heading into the finals against the Golden Knights, Barkov had already set new career highs in goals and assists through 16 playoff games. He added 2 more points in the finals, finishing the postseason with 16 points in 21 games. Barkov's outstanding performance continued into the 2023-24 season, culminating in him winning his second Selke, while also recording 80 points in 73 games. Which brings us to the present, where Barkov's outstanding leadership and defensive play has the Panthers within a win of hoisting the Stanley Cup. Through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, Barkov shut down the opponent's top players, and through 3 of 4 games in the finals, he shut down McDavid and Draisaitl. Let me know if you think the Panthers will finish off the Oilers in Game 5, or if you think Edmonton can push the series to 6. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to support the channel.